You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Ethan Haristodoulou.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to more of the Greeks Gridiron. I am Ethan Haristodoulou, and today on May 10th, 2022, we are breaking down the Seattle Seahawks and their draft grade for this year's NFL draft. So my Seahawks fans, make sure, as I tell all the fans to, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below. How do you feel about this year's draft for the Seahawks? They picked a lot of players. I believe there was, if I'm not mistaken, close to 10 picks altogether. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but you guys got a lot of young talent coming into the team here, which should be exciting considering the amount of just roster turnover you guys have had this offseason. So make sure, again, do all those things. Let me know how you're feeling about it, and let's talk. We'll start with day 3. We'll then jump into day 2, and then we will talk that first round selection there that they went with offensive lineman Charles Cross. An excellent selection in my opinion, but we'll discuss him when we get there. Starting with the day 3 selections here, a ton of picks. We're looking at 5 altogether. In the 7th round, we got wide receivers Bo Melton and Derek Young. In the 5th round, we have ourselves edge rusher Tyreke Smith and also cornerback Tariq Woolen. That one is an awesome selection. I really like Tariq Woolen, and getting him in the 5th round, excellent in my opinion. And then also in round number 4, the selection of cornerback Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. So with the 2 wide receivers, I like these selections. I gave them Bs overall just because you're getting them 1 in the 7th round, and 2, you don't necessarily need the wide receivers, but there has been a lot of chatter regarding just like potential trades with the wide receiver core over there in Seattle. Ever since Russell Wilson left, it feels like a lot of names are just kind of up for grabs right now, and while Pete Carroll has kind of denied a lot of those rumors, it is definitely a talking point to look at. And I will say that getting 2 guys, late in day 3, just kind of project type of players, you never really know what you're going to get, but there have been some undrafted free agents, 7th, 6th round wide receivers who have shown up and played very well in their career. So while you're probably not getting replacements for DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, you are bringing in some guys to go behind them to learn from their craft and also be able to grow in an offensive system with no real pressure on them. So I do like the selections, not necessarily needs, I would say, but based off of rumors and whatnot that have gone around, potentially something worth looking at down the road. Now, the 3 picks that I really like from this day 3 here is going to be Tyreke Smith on the edge there from Ohio State, Tariq Woolen, and also Kobe Bryant. All right, so firstly, Tariq Woolen going in the 5th round, considering a lot of people thought just based off of his pure athletic talent alone would get him drafted somewhere around the 3rd. This is a steal. I gave the pick a B+. I think he is an excellent project type of corner. He has such good size and awesome speed. His closing speed is unbelievable as well, but I really like the player, and you're picking him so late, and he's going behind someone like cornerback Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. You don't necessarily need him to be the number 1 guy right away. I do know that secondary does need some help, and he might get thrust into a position early, especially if he really impresses Pete Carroll in the defense. But I love this one because he just brings so much potential talent to the table. He's a great project, awesome size. I believe he's like 6'3", 6'4". 200 some odd pounds, but then he runs like a 4.3. The whole thing makes no sense, but the guy is an awesome athlete to mold into that cornerback spot. And I believe he's only been corner for 2 years now, so he still has room to grow. But the fact that he's shown such good signs as such a new guy in the role that he's playing in, it's got to feel good and it's got to be exciting. Kobe Bryant, another good selection as well. This one also got a B+ from me. This is the other half of the Cincinnati secondary, not named Sauce Gardner, and someone who does not get quite the love I feel he deserves because Sauce got all the love out of that secondary. But Kobe Bryant, very good for somebody in his collegiate career. 9 total interceptions, 4 forced fumbles in 4 years. He has a knack for breaking up the pass as well, getting his hand in there and separating the wide receiver from the football. This is an excellent selection as well in day 4. Someone who, like I said, I don't think quite got the love he deserved because Sauce Gardner was garnering all the attention there. And then Tyreke Smith, I labeled this one a B, from Ohio State. Smith's a depth guy, but also a guy who could eventually maybe work his way into somewhat of a passing down type of role guy because he has flashes. He has excellent aggression in his play style, and he does have a knack for getting to the quarterback. I think this is someone who overall when you look at just like the group of guys they selected here in day 3, fits the mold of what they're looking for. High potential upside and someone who could potentially carve out a more solid role down the road, or even someone who might be able to step in early enough if his progression goes really well through training camp in this offseason leading into the new year. I definitely like the day 3 group altogether. This was an excellent group of people. Like I said, you got wide receivers in the 7th round who, no pressure, can kind of learn the system and go from there. And then you got 3 guys, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, and Tyreke Smith. Excellent guys to be bringing in for depth and also potential starting spots. I really like this group of guys here. As for the overall grade for day 3, I'm giving it a B+. I cannot praise the Seahawks enough for their depth selections there. They got an excellent group. I like the B+ for them there. Going into day number 2, we have 3 selections here, rounding up the number to 8, so it's 9 selections total that they had, not 10. It was 9. I had miscounted. But 9 selections here. Hello, Gravy. Welcome to the show. Just scoot off over to the side there if you can. So for the 3 selections that they had here. In the 3rd round, you are looking at offensive tackle Abraham Lucas from Washington State. We also got ourselves Kenneth Walker III, the running back out of Michigan State, and Boye Mafe, the edge rusher from Minnesota. Abraham Lucas got the lowest grade out of all 3 of these selections here. I put a B on him. He's a depth piece for the offensive line, more of a project than anything else. He was an offensive tackle, but he's projected to be more so of a guard. But the guy brings awesome size at being 6'6", 315 pounds, really good size and decent athleticism for the position, especially if you punch him into the inside. I think he'll probably end up being a guard for the offensive line here, just based off of what I've seen and read about him. But I did give him a B, but a team need nonetheless. Excellent selection there. The running back Kenneth Walker pick. This is one that I think scratched a few people, or left a few people scratching their heads, rather, because they were like, well, why are they taking a running back? Well, if you look at the running back room, there is talent, but an injury history comes along with that talent. I'm a very big fan of Chris Carson. I took him in a fantasy league a couple of years ago when I was doing fantasy. I don't do fantasy. I hate fantasy football, not because I think it's bad for the game or anything. I just don't like the stress of it. But I did take Chris Carson, and while I had him and he did some damage for me, it felt like he was also hurt every other week. And so while I love the talent Chris Carson brings to the table, staying healthy has been an issue for him in his career. So bringing in someone like Kenneth Walker, who may only be 5'9", but he's 211 pounds. He has a 4.38 40. He can run through people. He has excellent burst, great game speed, and he makes things happen with his moves, like making something out of nothing. The other way around's an insult. He would make something out of nothing more often than not when I would watch his game tape. There's just constant, like, him cutting back and going the other direction and finding a wide open hole to run through for like a 30, 40, 50-yard run. He has awesome ball carrying vision as well. So an excellent selection in the 2nd round there. I slapped him with a B+. I like that for sure. And then for that 2nd round pick at number 8, the number 40th overall selection, Boye Mafe, once again shoring up the edge here in day number 2. Explosive is the word that I labeled here in my notes. Explosive type of player. He has pretty much everything you're looking for in terms of production. He has sacks, 7 this past season, tackles for loss. He had 10 in 2021, and not only does he have those numbers, but they come so fast. It's like in the blink of an eye, all of a sudden he's in the backfield ripping your quarterback down or stuffing the running back, and you don't really see it coming. He just comes out of nowhere. The guy's also 6'4", 268 pounds. He runs a 4.53 and has a 38-inch vertical. You want to talk about a big man with unbelievable athleticism? Boye Mafe is that guy. I love the selection. I gave it an A-. I think this is a great pick for the Seahawks. And to round out my day 2 grade, I am giving them a B+ here as well. Excellent group of selections there. Love a lot of those players that they're bringing onto the team. And then as for the final day, day number 1, they went after offensive tackle Charles Cross, which he is a premier offensive tackle. They avoided the quarterback bait that a lot of people were kind of wondering, will the Seahawks go after a quarterback here? But it's clear after losing Russell Wilson, I think the Seahawks are now really taking the offensive line thing a little bit serious with the addition of Abraham Lucas and now Charles Cross as well. I think they realize, okay, we need to rebuild this offensive line. We literally just lost our quarterback because of the whole situation. I think that the offensive line probably is one of the biggest reasons why Russell Wilson is no longer in Seattle. Maybe there's disagreements in, a scheme and whatnot and how things should be handled, like roster-wise between Russell Wilson and ownership and the GMs and Pete Carroll. But I think nobody has been sacked more than Russell Wilson has been in his career up to this point since he's been in the league. And so if that's the case, I don't think I'd want to be in Seattle either if I was Russell Wilson. But taking a guy like Charles Cross, who a lot of people considered potentially one of the best offensive tackles in this line of group of linemen, I really like the selection. Like I said, they avoided the bait of quarterback. They didn't, with all the rumors about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett kind of going around, they didn't make some wild move where they traded away DK Metcalf and then brought in like Garrett Wilson or something like that. They were willing to stay put with the guys they have and build in the areas of need that they needed to. This is an A-plus pick, in my opinion, and that gives them an A-plus for the day one selection. I love the Charles Cross addiction. This is exactly the way they needed to go, and they went after it. And much respect to the regime over there in Seattle for finally taking their team needs a little bit more seriously in this situation and going after a guy in the first round who a lot of people expect to be a day one starter and an impact guy right out of the gate. So overall, for the entire draft, my final grade, like I said, I gave an A- for day one. I gave a B+ for day two and day three. This was a very strong draft class here, and I want to give the Seattle Seahawks an A- for this draft. It is an excellent group of players. You have a lot of potential upside, coupled with a handful of guys who are probably going to, just because of necessity more than anything else, are going to have to carve out a more serious role in the offense or defense right out of the gate, but also have the potential to actually fit into that role as well. They're not just a guy that's being plugged in because of necessity. They're being plugged in, one, because of necessity, but also they are going to be able to handle that role as well and do it effectively. I think this is an awesome draft for the Seahawks, and my Seahawks fans, I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Again, how do you think the Seahawks fared in this year's draft? Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all my other draft grades I'm going through as well. I'm doing all 32 teams as we roll through the month of May. It's going to be a little bit of a slow drip process because, one, I'm going through highlights and writing out reports for the entire team as I go through. I'm not just throwing out grades for reactions. I'm giving you guys my honest and well thought out opinions, and I hope you guys think so as well. So I appreciate you all for watching. I will see you all in the next draft grade video. Have a good one.